What's up, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Muckraker. My name is Michelle. Today is April 3rd of 2023, and I hope you're doing well today. Thank you very much for joining me. So in today's video, we're going to discuss some questions that locals submitted for the EV Gotion Battery Panel that's going to be held in 2 days on April 5th. All the details are on the thumbnail, and you can find them also at the Green Township website. So I suggest that you go and submit questions if you haven't already. But before we get into the questions, I just wanted to highlight really quick a story that comes out of Marshall, Michigan, for the mega site proposed battery plant that's happening there. And I think it's important that we understand it's not just us that is going through this and here in Big Rapids. This is going on in several places throughout Michigan, and we're all in this together. We each have our own little battles that we're fighting, but it's good to remember that we have each other. So I hope that you can hear me all right. We are going to switch over first to meet Nancy. And this is just a 42-second video just to highlight this resident who is being forced from her home if the Marshall plant goes through. This is real people. Nancy will lose her home if the state of Michigan moves forward with this.
I have lived on C Drive North for 58 years. This has affected me emotionally. My blood pressure has been through the roof. It's a big inconvenience, and I feel like they have given me a total runaround. So hopefully this will all...
And what's your name?
Nancy McCoy.
Okay. All right,
So that was on RealPeopleMedia, and I'll have their YouTube channel in the comments down below. But I think, again, it's important to understand this is only possible because of the same legislature that brought in Agenda 21 in 1963 with Nancy Pelosi. Shortly after that, they brought in this state constitution amendment for eminent domain compensation. Private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation, therefore being first made or secured in a manner prescribed by law. If private property consisting of an individual's principal residence is taken for public use, the amount of compensation made and determined for that taking shall be not less than 125% of that property's fair market value, in addition to any other reimbursement allowed by law. Compensation shall be determined in proceedings in a court of record. Public use does not include the taking of private property for transfer to a private entity for the purpose of economic development or enhancement of tax revenues. Private property otherwise may be taken for reasons of public use, as that term is understood on the effective date of the amendment to this Constitution that added this paragraph. This next one is about condemned, so that doesn't apply to this, but this last paragraph, I don't know exactly what it's trying to say. If you do, please break it down for this layman down in the comments below. Any existing right, grant, or benefit afforded to property owners as of November 1st, 2005, whether provided by this section, by statute, or otherwise, shall be preserved and shall not be abrogated or impaired by the constitutional amendment that added this paragraph. So I don't know exactly what this November 1st, 2005 date means, but I thought that to be fully transparent that I should add that, because it might apply, it might not, I'm not sure. So the meat of this video are questions that were submitted by locals. If you yourself have questions that you submitted and want to share and don't mind having those questions attached to you, you can share those down below and we can compare what questions were asked versus what questions were answered. But if you want to remain anonymous, you can email me the questions you submitted to michiganmuckraker@gmail.com, and I will do a video and show your questions and share them. So if you would like to do that, that's no problem. Again, I think it's very interesting to compare which questions were asked and which questions were answered. So the first question: what are you, Gotion, doing to move away from the dangerous and harmful materials used in these batteries? For example, other American companies are using lithium iron phosphate. These American companies are also sourcing it from Canada, not China. When will we see anything in writing guaranteeing that the materials used at Gotion are not sourced from the Congo, as you, Chuck Thelen, claims? So I have no doubt that Chuck Thelen claimed this somewhere. There's all kinds of information out there. I would like to find that, because everybody claims that, but I have a video to share after. I'll share all the questions first, but this video right here, the disturbing reality of cobalt mining for rechargeable batteries. This guy, and I know it says Joe Rogan, don't pay attention to that if you don't like him. I know he's a potato head, but he has great guests on, and this guy went to the Republic of Congo, and he saw the slave trading there, and he saw that everybody gets their cobalt from the Republic of Congo, even if they say it's ethically mined. So I have just a couple minutes to share, but I'd like to share all the questions first, since that's the meat of this video. When will the public be provided with the water study promised at the Renaissance Zone meeting? Great question. I'd love to see that. When will the public be provided with the results of Eagle's wetlands studies pertaining to the properties Gotion wants? Again, I love this question because Eagle will shut down real Michigan local entrepreneurs that want to build greenhouses for wetlands that are ditches all the way to Lake Huron. I'm sorry, I think it's Lake Huron over there by Detroit, St. Clair. Michigan, M.I. Gardner, I mean. He got shut down by Eagle, but you're going to let the Chinese battery company Gotion literally buy land and destroy wetlands, real wetlands. It's crazy. When will the public be provided with the job sourcing information, studies, and surveys? Chuck Thelen, please clarify the original claims of employing those from a 45 to 60 mile radius, and in recent articles, claims of staffing with 90% locals. Chuck Thelen, please clarify the original average wage you said of $60,000 now to be $45,000. Right. From where I sit, and I'd love him to clarify himself, obviously, but the 60,000 is the higher ups' wages, which are 5 to 7 higher up management positions, or like very specialized engineering that got brought in there to bring the 45,000 up. Majority of the jobs are going to be 45,000. So it was, disingenuous. Surprise, surprise. Please explain what Gotion plans to do to contribute to the community, since it will be receiving these many tax incentives. What percentage of robotics will be used in the factory for battery assembly and ratio with employees? Another great question. Just read an article about a robotics and AI automation center in Holland that in the last year has doubled their capabilities in just 1 year. So, and AI just came out, and the public is exploring and making it better by using ChatGPT and such. And so AI is just getting better and better, is my point. So that's a wonderful question. I'd love to know how they answer that one. If a major catastrophe was to occur, what would be the steps Gotion has set in place for one? And is there a preventative maintenance team? What is Gotion's plan to provide for the community in such event of a major catastrophe? Water, food, general need of evacuation. Elaborate on how the company will take accountability and how we will not rely on the government to fix your mistakes. Because who wants to do that? Am I right? Who wants to rely on the government? But who wants to rely on Gotion? Either. That's my main problem. There's just too many chemicals near the river. It's dangerous, and why risk it when everything is falling apart? Nobody's held accountable for anything. Why risk our river, guys? Many answers are, we won't know that until we are further ahead in the process. How convenient for them, isn't that? However, surely your engineers know exactly what amounts and types of fire suppression are needed. Please elaborate on these details. I have a fire story I'd like to share hopefully tomorrow before the meeting. from Australia. The firefighters there are overwhelmed. It's a crazy, scary story, but the amount of EV vehicles and batteries exploding randomly in Australia has skyrocketed because of more EV vehicles being on the roads and such. So it's not good. The firefighters aren't ready. The fires are crazy. I will get in that article tomorrow. Please explain the processes that will take place in the facilities to prevent pollutants from entering our air, land, and water. Please explain exactly which components of such batteries will be assembled in Big Rapids. It's crazy that we have to ask that. Like, where's the transparency, man? What exactly is being built? 3/4. What chemicals are going to be there and what amounts? As you have claimed, you cannot keep up with current demand. What is the need for such large storage facilities if the demand will be constant? Won't that eliminate the need for storage? Where will the components be moved to for further assembly? And how? Was Big Rapids the first choice of location, or was it in another state, and why? Have you personally offered board members or their families jobs at the company? That's a wonderful question. I want to know, what are you guys getting, these people that are trying to push it through without public vote or public say in any way? Have you stated that you hate your boss and or his son to multiple people? And please clarify why. If you hate them, why would we want them to own property in our town? Now, Chuck Thelon's boss is Chen Li, who is a member of the CCP and is a young global leader for the World Economic Forum, announced March 14th this year. How long do you believe you will be employed with Gotion? So it's no wonder if he does, if you hate him. I'm sorry, but he's probably well, never mind. I'm going to keep this PG for the kids. We need to get these questions answered. That's the bottom line. How long do you believe you will be employed with Gotion? Provide anticipated water usage. See, that's a great question too, because what were you promised? Why'd you switch from Robert Bosch? You were there for 20-something years, and you switched in 2020 to work as VP for Gotion. Why? And how long? Provide anticipated water usage for a facility, gallons per day, and the basis for that usage. Provide initial progress and full built-out usage volumes based on Gotion's proposed build-out schedule. Provide detail on any water system improvements that Gotion has identified that will be necessary to serve the proposed project. Please provide a copy of the water study that Gotion or its agents commissioned with respect to Gotion's water needs and potential impact on the area water supply. The study was referenced by you at the September 26, 2022 joint meeting with Mecosta County Board of Commissioners and the Township Boards of Big Rapids Township and Green Charter Township. Water study. These are all wonderful questions. Provide wastewater, and why aren't they answered yet? Provide wastewater characteristics. Describe any planned on-site wastewater pre-treatment activities that are needed to allow for discharge to the public sanitary sewer. Love that one. Like, what chemicals are you going to use to pre-treat the water? Details, man. We want to know what the hell is going on. Is that so much to ask? Provide detail on any necessary sanitary sewer system extensions and improvements necessary to serve the project, including, but not limited to, any pre-treatment activities improvements that will be required. When will a copy of the most recent site plan for the property be made public, conceptual or otherwise? Please identify which materials utilized or stored on site and or used in production will be of concern to firefighters responding to an incident at the facility. If Gotion acquires the township's water system, please detail that Gotion intends to do with the existing hydrants in and around the project area. Will those hydrants be maintained for public use? Will the township's emergency services have access to those hydrants for emergency and fire response? Man, detail, I love it. Provide an explanation of the anticipated transportation methods and routes for the transportation of materials, lithium, cobalt, graphite, manganese, and or nickel, necessary for battery production at the facility, and the methods and routes for the finished product. Does the nature of these materials require any special handling, transportation, or storage measures? Where will these materials come from? Describe Gotion's waste management strategy with respect to the proposed project. Will there be special wastes associated with the battery manufacturing? How will those special wastes be managed? What are the energy requirements to power the facility, and how are those requirements, how will they be met? Will Gotion utilize or install alternative or green energy solutions such as solar and or wind, and if so, where will such solutions be located? Yeah, I've heard several times it'll be 100% renewable energy. It's like, unless you call natural gas renewable energy, maybe. Provide an explanation and data as to how Gotion's water usage will not adversely impact surrounding private water wells and aquifers. What are the anticipated noise decibel levels associated with the anticipated near continuous operation of the facility, and any noise mitigation measures that will be utilized to reduce noise pollution from the facility? This is very thorough, man. I love that. Will Gotion construct and utilize a foundry on site as part of the production process? Provide a copy of the anticipated population growth study that the 2.5 to 3.7 multiplier was given. Provide a breakdown as to the number of employees that will be employed at the facility that will be hired locally versus those that will need to be brought in from outside of the state or country. Identify the level of those workers, production, management, etc., and whether Gotion has any plans or agreements with respect to providing housing for employees coming from outside the country. Boom. Now we got more, of course. Ferris State University, got some for you. What is Ferris going to prevent anyone from Gotion from gathering intel? What are they going to do? What is Ferris doing? I'm sorry. If I could read, that'd be great. What is Ferris doing to prevent anyone from Gotion from gathering intel about the new cybersecurity program? And why are you not voicing concerns about Gotion workers touring Ferris and inquiring about that program? Is it true that Eisler is the one who spoke about a potential housing agreement with Gotion? And if so, why have you not gone on the record to correct your announcement from March 23rd? Plausible deniability. Only for so long. How much money is FSU said promised to be given from Gotion's grants funding? How much money? Let's talk about money. What specific degrees, programs is Ferris planning to create for Gotion, necessary for a factory position, and what numbers of retention are in discussion for students from FSU to be employed for Gotion? Green Township, what has Trustee Jernstadt been offered for his property from Gotion? What zoning changes does Green Township have to make to incorporate this? Why have you not mailed out surveys to your residents? Holy crap. That's a good one. Why? Oh, is it because you don't want to hear what we have to say? You don't care? You're just going to go through with your secret plans with our public money? Why are you not allowing public in-person meetings on Gotion like Big Rapids Township has offered? And why only a panel with predetermined questions? What specific incentives are other board members being promised? You stated, Jim Chapman, that when Bill Stenick first told you about this project that you wanted nothing to do with it due to its Chinese origin. What changed your mind, and why have you lied about the origin in the process? well, money probably changed his mind, but maybe he got a position. He ran for a Republican seat, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he just wants more power. It's either money or power. Okay, that's it. That's the questions that I have. Again, if you want to submit your questions for people to see what was submitted, please put them in the comments down below or email me, okay? So we're going to jump into the first article that I wanted to share with you. And this comes out of the Center Square. Protesters push April 5th Gotion meeting to online only. And this was March 30th, so just a couple days ago. An April 5th meeting to discuss a planned Gotion electric vehicle battery plant with $1.5 billion of backing in Mecosta County has been moved online, allegedly because of planned protests and possible threats of violence. Green Township Supervisor Jim Chapman told the Center Square in an email, yes, it is a go, virtual only, because of a huge number of protesters that intended to overrun us, as we received threats of violence that we felt might be credible. A link to the panel will be on our webpage next week, along with a link to the questions submitted. And again, it's this week, just 2 days. Chapman hasn't responded to a question seeking more details about the alleged threat. In another article, he says Antifa, which to me is crazy. The Mecosta County Sheriff's Office couldn't confirm a filed police report over the alleged threat. Real quick, not because Antifa doesn't exist, of course they do, and they're actually a fascist group, because we live in the upside down, and left is right and right is left, and everything in between. So they call themselves anti-fascists, but really they're fascists. They go around burning things, and it's all helping the central government, because it basically just allows the government to justify the jackboot that will come down on our head. So by doing these crazy things that Antifa does, they're actually unknowingly or knowingly working for central power. They're working towards fascism. Anyway, I'm sorry I got on a little tangent. But they do exist, but it's crazy because what we're dealing with right now is kind of fascism. They're spending, again, public money in private. So why would they be coming out to harm these people? If anything, they would harm the ones that are against the plant. But that's all just speculation, and that's all just my opinion on it, my look at it. The Mecosta County Sheriff's Office couldn't confirm a filed police report over the alleged threat. The Center Square filed a records request seeking the alleged report, which the Sheriff's Office fulfilled within an hour. You know what's funny, though, is Antifa did its work anyway. It helped push this online, so we can't gather peacefully and be heard and be seen and understand how many people actually feel the same way that we do. That we don't want this here, that we're worried about it, and it's legit worries. And they're trying to gaslight us and silence us and everything else. And so, yeah, just saying Antifa threatened us. Now it's online. So, in a way, they did their job. Anyway, it responded. The information requested above does not exist with the Mecosta County Sheriff's Office. No reports have been filed by Green Township, Jim Chapman, or any other township official regarding this matter. Protesters planned to pack the meeting to show opposition to the state, giving at least $715 million to Gotion, in part because the company's employees must adhere to communist rule. That's only part. The biggest part for most is that I've talked to is the chemicals. Because if you're paying attention to what's going on in Ohio and all the train derailments and all the stuff that's going on, you know, you're worried. You should be worried that if that happened, you'd be shit out of luck. No one's going to help you. That's what you have to understand. Our institutions are unfortunately deteriorating. And so if a disaster happens, we are on our own. Those tax breaks include a $125 million critical industry program grant for a local job creation requirement. A 30-year Renaissance zone to Mecosta County valued at $540 million, and a $50 million strategic site readiness program performance-based grant. that went to the right place. So the right place got 50 million taxpayer dollars. In return, Gotion says it will create 2,350 jobs. The panel will include representatives from Gotion, Inc., Ferris State University, the Right Place Economic Nonprofit, and representatives from roads, fire, energy, and wastewater. The meeting moving to virtual was first reported by the Big Rapids Pioneer. Of course, because they have a direct access to both James Chapman of the Green Township and Chuck Thelen. Chuck Thelen calls the Big Rapids Pioneer before it calls our government that we actually elected. Supposedly. Allegedly. Carl Wagner, a real estate agent and builder from Cannon Township, planned to attend the April 5th meeting to spread the word about a planned ballot drive to amend the Constitution to end real property taxes in Michigan. Yeah, because property tax means that you just rent your land from the government. You don't actually own it. Stop paying just for 2 years and they come take it from you. It's crazy. Wagner says she thinks the meeting was moved online to hide growing project opposition. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense. They don't want us to see again how many of us there are. Even though we're peaceful, it's just this nonviolent resistance. Gandhi changed India with nonviolent resistance. So you don't have to get violent. In fact, that is probably the best method ever to use, and the British Empire got the hell out of India, didn't they? So yeah, the way that happens though is that people get together in person and talk and understand that we're just normal people who love this plane of existence, this Michigan state that we live in, and we don't want to have a threat in our backyard, whether it's one threat or another. Fire, CCP, or the chemicals. Those are the top 3 threats. They're crushing the ability of people to publicly protest, Wagner told the Center Square in a phone interview. I don't think they want people to see how many people don't want this. People will find other ways to get the word out, Wagner said, which is true. Gotion Inc. Vice President of North America Manufacturing Chuck Thelen claims the company is not under the influence of the Chinese Communist Party. Well, since his boss is a member, I think I'll believe him. No person on the leadership team is a CCP member, Thelen said in a statement. There is no CCP organization or influence to the North American operation. Gotion originally planned to build a factory in Big Rapids Township. However, the Big Rapids Township Board voted for a federal review of national security risks with Gotion. Gotion then refocused project sites on Green Township instead of Big Rapids. Good job, Scott McClellan. That was a good article. I'll have it linked down below if you want to check it out yourself. The Midwesterner is the other one I want to share. This individual, I think it's just an individual, is doing great work, or this group of people. I just found them in the last couple weeks, and I appreciate what they're doing. So, American front company Gotion has a lien from a Chinese bank. That's interesting. Evidence continues to mount corporation as proxy for Chinese Communist Party-linked Gotion High Tech. There is plenty of evidence out there that links it to China, and yeah. Chinese bank CMB Winglong Bank filed a lien against Gotion, the American front company for Gotion High Tech, on December 16th of 2021. Gotion filed a financing statement with the California Secretary of State indicating that it is a debtor to the Hong Kong-based bank. The public document did not indicate how much debt Gotion has incurred, but it is an additional connection to Goshen's home base, Communist China. According to the website, it has 35 branches and 4 in mainland China, 2 in the United States, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Winglong Bank was purchased in 2008 by China Merchants Bank, which is headquartered in Shenzhen, China. China Merchants Bank lists its article of association, similar to American companies' bylaws. And on the website, like Gotion High Tech, it requires a Chinese Communist Party committee to be active within the corporation. Right. Not going to go through all this. Again, I'll link it down below. The bylaws state that the bank's party committee shall lead the bank's ideological and political work, as well as strengthen the building of the bank's grassroots party organizations of its party members. The document also states that the bank shall be operated according to the Constitution of the Communist Party of China and other regulations of the party. Winglong Bank's Articles of Association could not be located. Gotion High-Tech has included similar language in its bylaws requiring the company to ensure and supervise the implementation of the party's guidelines, principles, and policies in the company and implement major strategic decisions of the CPC, Communist Party of China, Central Committee, and the State Council, as well as relevant important work arrangements of the party organization at the higher level. The Gotion corporate document also states that the company's party committee shall strengthen the construction of party organization and party members at the grassroots level of the company and oversee growing the Communist Youth League and other mass work of the company. Yes, and you know, China is a part of the World Economic Forum, and so this grassroots Communist Youth League is funny they say that because the World Economic Forum has a youth league as well, which anytime I hear youth league, man, I think of 1940s Germany. Dangerous stuff we're dealing with. The next one I have is this person who I've never heard of, and I know that he's a representative now of Michigan, but that's how much I pay attention to Republicans or Democrats I used to. I didn't pay attention, but now I do pay attention because there's a lot going on here. So anyway, Moolenaar, I hope I'm saying that right. Gotion proposal is wrong for Michigan. Yes, Gotion Inc. is a subsidiary of China-based Gotion High-Tech, and it wants to build a new battery factory in Mecosta County. Gotion High-Tech has numerous references in its corporate bylaws requiring loyalty to CCP. We already read that. Okay, as a congressman for Michigan's 2nd Congressional District, I represent the area where the proposed facility would be built. In Congress, I have been working to stop the CCP from expanding its influence in America. I support legislation that would ban the CCP from buying American farmland, and I have voted for a bill that bans CCP companies from buying oil from our country's strategic petroleum reserve. What's up, New Beginnings? Thank you for joining me. I just saw this. Still protesting. Right. I might be announcing all the details tomorrow. I just, I wanted to get some more details before I announce it. So, thank you, though. And, yeah. I will see you on Wednesday. With regards to the possible project in Mecosta County, I have asked the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States to investigate whether the factory is a security risk. However, this committee, which is made up of 9 Biden administration officials, has not responded to that request. This is unacceptable, and the committee should act with greater urgency to provide information to Michigan residents. In January, I was named by Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy to the House Select Committee of the Strategic Competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party to look at the challenges posed by the CCP. Man, government just bigger and bigger and bigger. Just more and more committees and boards. There is no doubt that CCP has engaged in activities that hurt the American people, including the spy balloon, stealing inventions from American companies, and jeopardizing the health of every person in the world. Okay. In just a few months, Republicans and Democrats on the Select Committee have put a spotlight on the CCP's hostile activities right here in America. In February, the committee highlighted secret CCP police stations in the United States that are used for spying and surveillance, particularly focused on people who speak out against the CCP. Another major concern has been how the CCP is the largest supplier of the chemicals used by Mexican cartels to produce fentanyl, which then comes into Michigan communities and kills our loved ones. Now, I am gonna say that, how do I say this? of course, there's a lot of great information in here, but just because I read an article, here's what I'm trying to say. Just because I read an article doesn't mean I believe everything that the article says, okay? I think that everyone should know that, and I feel kind of sad I have to say that, but I don't endorse everything in every article. I find these articles, I think they're interesting and that they're informative, or they have information that you might want to know about, and so I share them. So I just want to throw that out there. I also have looked at the CCP's threats to Taiwan. This is an increasingly perilous situation for America's economy and national security. Taiwan is a vital national security partner for the United States. It also produces many of the chips used in cars, computers, phones, sensors, and so many other products the American people use every day. See, that's one of the things people say is like, don't you guys want technology to come here? And we have built in America and made in America, and it's like, of course, but we have to be smart about it. And having a Chinese company come here is not really made in America. How about we have an American company? And I'm not saying an EV battery company, because that's a whole nother topic, but electric vehicle technology is no better for the planet than fossil fuels. So, additionally, the Wall Street Journal has reported that the Michigan National Guard is training members of the Taiwan military at Camp Grayling. What sense does it make for Michigan to allow a CCP-affiliated company to build a massive factory in our state, while at the same time the Michigan National Guard is helping Taiwan prepare for a possible attack by the CCP? The proposed facility in Mecosta County would be just 100 miles from the Camp Grayling training site. That is a great question, and I didn't know that myself. I didn't realize that Camp Grayling was supplying Taiwan. Gotion Inc.'s American and European partners should take a hard look at buying out their CCP-affiliated partners and moving their company forward independently without CCP influence. See, electric vehicles and the battery manufacturing have attracted billions of dollars in private investment in recent years, and there could be no shortage of interested investors. It's been pushed by the government, though, by centralized power. And again, if you look into cobalt mining, if you look into lithium mining, it's no better, if not worse, than fossil fuels. It's just a whole new set of problems. So that's what I'm saying. I don't agree with him on this. I don't want an American-made electric vehicle battery plant there. I don't want a battery plant at all because of all the chemicals involved. How about we do some awesome recreational stuff in this area? Like have some kind of recreational tourist attraction. That's why I brought up Project Eden. And it doesn't have to be that company, but just the general idea is to build greenhouses where we can grow food. But since MI Gardner got shut down, I doubt that we could do that. Michigan needs more manufacturing and more jobs, but it is crucial to have the right partners investing in our state. The CCP should not be that partner, and no company or subsidiaries that is committed to carrying out Chinese Communist Party activities should be building facilities in our state. Mecosta County is an excellent location with open land, talented students at fairs, hardworking people who know how to get the job done. Community leaders want to bring more investment and jobs to the area, and they should never have their lives threatened for the efforts. With the right partners and investments, Mecosta County is a community that can grow and thrive. See, yeah. So that's the thing. The Republican Party seems to just be against the CCP. And the locals, it's not that way. For the locals, again, everybody I talk to, it's not everybody, of course, but everybody that I've talked to, environment is a huge concern because it's our health we're talking about. This is our water. You need food and water and shelter to live. And if you're threatening the water, it needs to be a serious thought needs to be put into it, okay? All right. Hopefully I can get away with showing just a couple minutes of this video without getting a copyright strike. The last time, I think maybe it was just too much of this video was shown. I don't know. It is a big channel, so they do have people that look for the material, I guess. But anyway.
And cell phones. And that became known as conflict minerals. Cobalt started later. Cobalt really took off about 10, 12 years ago. and it's in another part of the country, in the mining provinces in the southeast of the Congo. And cobalt took off because it was started to be used in lithium-ion batteries to maximize their charge and stability. And it just so happens that the Congo, just as it was sitting on more than half the world's reserves of coltan and, of course, a lot of gold and diamonds and other things, is sitting on more cobalt than the rest of the planet combined.
So think about that. The rest of the, and he might say it, but an EV battery takes 1,000 times more cobalt than your phone, the chip in your phone. 1,000 times more. And we're trying to electrify the world.
And it's in a small little patch of the Congo, southeastern corner, a part that used to be called Katanga. And before anybody knew what was happening, Chinese government, Chinese mining companies took control of almost all the big mines, and the local population has been displaced, is under duress, and they dig in absolutely subhuman, gut-wrenching conditions for $1 a day, feeding cobalt up the supply chain into all the phones, all the tablets, and especially electric cars.
And we're looking at a video now.
Yes, look at that. Look at all of these thousands of poor people that are being enslaved because of the dirty industry behind a green mask. And people have been hoodwinked. I am all for clean earth. Of course, who isn't for a clean earth? It's the problem is the solutions that are trying to be put in place don't make sense for a clean earth. So we have to ask ourselves, they know this, so why do they keep pushing it?
Jamie, what is this? The mines?
This is video.
And I'll tell you, electrification is centrifugation. You can remotely control an electric vehicle. You cannot remotely control a fossil fuel vehicle. And that's it. This is about literal power. Like what powers your vehicle and what powers your home and everything else. And what powerful people want to do with 15-minute cities and everything else. None of this is conspiracy theory. This is all happening right now. And it sucks. And I want it to stop.
So I think so.
This is so crazy to see.
This is the bottom of the supply chain of your iPhone, of your Tesla, of your Samsung. I mean, I'm just naming those companies.
Right.
It's all of them, right? All of them. We're not
All
just
of them.
picking on them. And here's what you need to know, Joe, about this video. I was the first outsider to get into this mine. And that's why it's just a really short video that I was able to take. This is an industrial cobalt mine where there's not supposed to be one artisanal miner. Now, that's the term used for people who are just digging by hand as opposed to tractors and excavators. There's not supposed to be one here. That's what the story is told at the top of the chain. This mine, and I can name it, it's called Shabara. There's not supposed to be one artisanal miner here, according to the consumer-facing tech companies and EV companies buying this cobalt. Lo and behold, I walk into this place, and this is what I see. There's more than 15,000 human beings crammed into that pit, digging by hand. And if you have sound, you hear the mallets, you hear the shout.
It's a crime against humanity. It's a crime against humanity. Why are we continuing to push this? It's because awareness, we have a lack of awareness as a majority, and so I hope that we can stop this madness before it's too late.
Shouting, you hear the grunts. It's a mass of humanity. You might expect to see a scene like this.
No masks for protection from the chemicals.
There's a term that gets used, clean cobalt.
There's no clean cobalt.
It's not real.
No. It's all marketing. It's all PR.
Can you imagine? It's all PR. It's all marketing.
It's a fiction. Just like that place, there's not supposed to be any artisanal mining there. It's all done industrially. That's the story told at the top of the chain. And people assume, I mean the marketing teams at big tech and EV companies assume, well, who's going to go down there and actually walk into the place and grab a video that shows, no, it's actually all raw human force. that is clanking that cobalt out of the ground. So
I highly recommend you pick up his book. I'll switch it to just me. Pick up his book, Cobalt Red. I admit I haven't read the whole thing yet. I just picked it up recently. I saw his interview though, and I've seen other interviews with him. It doesn't have to be Joe Rogan if you can't stand the guy. It doesn't matter. The information that he has to share is what's important here, okay? So I'll have the link of this, and it's not an affiliate link. Someday it will be though. I don't see a problem with Amazon getting less money and I just get a little commission, but right now I don't have affiliate links or anything. I just want you to pick up this book and read it because it has valuable information. Watch his interviews if you don't like to read books, that's fine. Audiobooks on Audible are awesome. I'm sure that because it's a new book just came out in January of 2023 that it's probably on Audible. So I hope that you found value in this. I hope you understand that what we're facing here is much bigger. I mean, he just said PR. Agenda 2030, Rosa Corey says, is the biggest PR scam in history, and it's true. And this is just another little piece of that same puzzle. They will lie and say whatever they want to sell you whatever they want to sell you. And so we need to not trust them and to look for ourselves and to make up our own minds. And again, you don't have to agree with everything or anything, but the point is to take it in and process it with your computer and come up with your own conclusions. Don't just trust somebody else and outsource your thinking, okay? I appreciate you guys chilling with me today. I will be making a video tomorrow on Chuck Thelon's boss, so look out for that. I don't know exact time yet. I'm thinking in the morning. It's going to be a little bit longer one, but hopefully not too long. If you like this kind of video, this kind of topic, where I talk about Fourth Industrial Revolution, Industry 4.0, transhumanism, I talk about EVs, Michigan, of course. If you like that kind of stuff, please consider subscribing. Hit that like button, share it with everyone you know, and check the links down below if you want to look into any of this yourself, okay? Thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you tomorrow.